Okay. Um, all right. And everyone can see updates and news. I just want to make sure I should have asked that before,
You're good,
but
Mickey.
thank you very much. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Mickey. I am here with our co-founder, Halle. Tonight, we're going to be doing a Club Runner updates and news session. And we're going to be discussing some various things. Pardon me. So I'm going to jump right into it. And what we'll do is, this is what we'll be covering. Roughly speaking, if we kind of cut the presentation in half, I'm going to be handling recent updates. What that means is, what is in Club Runner today that you can use right now? 90 to 95% of everything I'm going to mention, it's already in Club Runner. You don't have to wait, you don't have to sign up for anything. And then Halle will be covering news, what's on the horizon, and kind of our roadmap. What I won't be doing is I won't be reading every last bullet point because I'll make sure that your district receives this presentation so that you and your district members can review anything you need to later on. So I'll be doing a bit of skimming and a bit of summarizing because I know that all of you will be able to have access to this Google slide presentation. And so what we'll do is we're going to jump right into recent updates. Before I get there, if you wouldn't mind, please, just muting oh, and of course, this is being recorded. And thank you very much for participating in the chat. Any questions you have, please put it in the chat. And as I mentioned, I'll mention it again, if you have any urgent or pressing questions, just unmute yourself. Please do ask a question tonight. It's very important that you get your important questions answered. I'm going to be covering recent updates. What that means is what is live today, what is in the Club Runner system. You don't have to wait for this. So these are the points I'll be covering. Like I said, I'm not going to read the whole list, but we'll be covering the mobile app. And I don't know if some of you may or may not know what email link tracking is. One of the goals for tonight, we are not doing tutorials, we're not doing deep dives, we're doing a skim. We're doing exposure. That's the key word of tonight. We want to expose you to as many concepts as possible. We know you will be learning something new tonight. That's a guarantee, only because we've been doing these presentations for a while now. There's always something new that somebody learns. Let's jump right into it. So I'm going to begin with the mobile app. So the mobile app, by a very large margin, is one of our most important features. The reason being is that while some of our members, they might be intimidated by, you can use Club Runner on a laptop or a big screen iPad Pro, something like that. And they might be intimidated by the large interface. The mobile app is meant for 100% of Rotarians, all users, executive, non-executive, it doesn't matter. The mobile app moving forward is going to be a really big entry point into Club Runner. And when we ask users, do you have the mobile app? About more than 2/3, 3/4 of the time, they say yes. And that's only my intro question. The next question, do you know about, for example, message broadcasting? This is a newer feature. It is live. You can fire up the mobile app. You can use it today. This message broadcast system, it's both at the club and district level. It allows you to send a mobile app message. It's not a text. It's not an email. It's an app-to-app messaging service. So if when you get a voicemail on your phone, you get that little pull-down shade, a little window that says you have a voicemail. That's exactly what a app broadcast is. It's a bit harder to ignore than a phone call or an email. And that's exactly the reason we developed it, so that you have another avenue of communication to tell your members something short, tomorrow's meeting is canceled due to snow, or please register for the district conference, whatever important message that you want to just push out to all your members. The people on the other end, they have to have the app installed. They don't have to have it running. And that's really about it. And if they do that, then they'll receive the notification of the broadcast. And then just so you know, this is not, this doesn't mean like if it's at the district level, 2,000 people are going to be messaging each other. You still need generally club or district executive or admin access rights in order to send a broadcast, but anybody can receive the message broadcast. So if you haven't tried it, please do. It is live right now. You can use it on the app. All right. And thank you for asking questions. Um,
Turn it up just a little. I don't
sorry,
want to turn mine up because then I'll have.
All right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about editing profiles. This is actually a huge feature for us. It may seem slightly innocuous, but it's really a big deal for us. Why? The mobile app used to be what's called read-only. You could read data, but you couldn't really manipulate it. So editing profiles, it opens a big door for us. You can now, any member in the district can now edit their own profile. We want this to go a long way to keep that membership info up to date. I moved, I changed my address, my phone number, whatever, life throws at the Rotarian. They can open up the mobile app. They can just go in here and just say, well, here's my new address or phone number or email. Yeah, all of it syncs. So if our integration is enabled, we're going to get there with our integration. If our integration is enabled, then you make a change in the app, it changes a club, a district, an RI, it's all there. In fact, if you don't have a member profile photo and you have your phone, you're using the app, you can actually snap a quick picture with your phone and turn that into your member profile photo for your club or district. So once again, this is all here. This is all live. Please do use it right now. We have an updated navigation menu and member search. Now, the member search is easily one of our most popular features of the app. When people go to district conferences or wherever they're going and they meet someone, I love talking with Nancy. She was fantastic, but I forgot to get her business card. She's in the app. Yeah, you can look up Nancy's name, first, last from a club. So all of that is right there. We also have updated our navigation menu. This is the app right here. So all the commands you're seeing, these are the current commands that you can do or the current sections of the app. We will actually be in another iteration coming up. We will be enhancing this even more. Like I said, the app is our doorway or our gateway to all members. We're going to be expanding functionality, but it's all here right now. Okay. And then I'm going to keep going. And like I said, please do keep asking questions. The app has an all events listing. It's not just for your club. It's all events for your club, for the clubs in your area, right? Every AG or area governor, they usually administer 5 to 6 clubs, 5 to 7 clubs. What is happening in my neighboring clubs? I'd like to attend a club event, but even though it's not my club, so it not only lists your club events, but the clubs in your area as well as the district. You can register for something, say, as large as a district conference right on your phone. The beauty of the phone, the mobile app, it knows you're logged in. You're already logged in. You don't need to log in if that's required. The phone already knows that you're logged in. It passes that information along when you register for the event. Once again, a lot of our members, they think, okay, I have club events, but they don't know that it's club, the areas, the clubs in your area, as well as the district. You can register for all of that right now in the app. All right. And then a newer feature that we've added is foundation recognition. Is someone a Paul Harris Fellow? How's my recognition, my donations? You can see your contribution levels, for example, are you a major donor? This is all on the app right now. In fact, we even have a little button right here that says donate to foundation that will take you to the Rotary Foundation on my Rotary, and you can donate that way. So once again, this is newer. So if you haven't seen the foundation recognition section of the app, please do try it out. It's ready to use today. All right. I'm going to shift gears and I'm going to do that a little bit because I'm going to just move into different sections. We're going to talk now, we move from the app, we're going to talk about e-commerce. So I want to talk first about the donations module. So the donations module, it's already ready for any club who is a Club Runner subscriber and for the district. The donations module is ready to go. You can make these beautiful landing pages. You can have what's called campaign. So usually clubs and districts, they don't tend to have just one cause. Like this is maybe polio, like we're just gonna fund polio. They have different causes. So we call them campaigns. In this example, there's 4. So this club, it supports a wheelchair fundraiser, it's got a disaster relief fund, and the user can just pick to donate to one or all 4, whatever they'd like. You can make these donation pages really nice and really varied, and I've seen some clubs, they have, several campaigns. Of course, you can display the total raise and the number of donors. You have an option for donor to add comments, so they can say thank you, or they can add any comments while they're checking out when they make the donation, purchase with their credit card. Here is the back end, or the private area, and you can see these donation statistics and analytics. And we wanted to take this screenshot intentionally. The donations module is one example of an early preview of Club Runner Nova. I'm not going to get too deep into Nova. I know Halle will be, but Club Runner Nova has actually kind of been sneakily released in certain specific modules, because we want to make sure that it functions properly. So this kind of beautiful looking interface with all these analytics, this is an example of what Nova will be bringing. We want all of Club Runner to look just as nice as all of this. Here you can see the donation stats. How's my fundraising goals? I've raised $3,500 out of my $5,000 goal. Donations over time. You can track and email your donors in the donations module. That is really important. And of course, you can export. So all of this is here. In order to use the donations module, you need a payment provider. And we're going to get to that as well. So let's keep going. I want to, once again, change gears just a little bit. So we talked about donations. I want to mention cloud events. You can kind of see like that analytics page. It looks a little bit like the donations page. Once again, cloud events. It's a bit of a sneak peek under the hood at what Nova is going to be offering. So you may have heard of our other 2 event packages, Event Planner and My Event Runner. Everything eventually, it won't be tomorrow, won't be next week, but eventually we will be amalgamating everything into cloud events. Cloud events is the next generation, the newest version of our event software. You can make all these really nice looking landing pages. You can keep track of all kinds of statistics. You can sell products, add-ons. You can collect a donation as the person is checking out. So let's say you've got an event, a poker tournament, golf tournament, whatever you've got. And then since they have the person has a credit card in their hand anyways, why not ask them, would you consider making a $5 donation to the club, or whatever amount you'd like to share? So you can do all that, and you can ask what's called conditional questions. So if someone buys maybe a VIP package, and you want to offer those only the people who are buying VIP packages, or you bought a VIP package, would you also like to buy a parking pass? Because the parking passes, we have a limited amount, we reserve them for the VIP package. It's an example of a conditional question. If a condition is met, then we can offer this special discount rebate offer, what have you. This is live right now. If you haven't used cloud events already, please do. All right. These are some examples. We love showing off what the clubs do. They're super creative. The Bryan Rotary Club, they have a flag program. It's not technically an event. You're not like going to a location one night or one day. This flag program goes on for about 8 months, 9 months. So they just set their end date to, I think next year. And this is just a place to go, and you can buy a flag between now and next year. And then this from Rotary Club of Sparks, they did a poker tournament. They have kind of a more complex event with teams, teams of 4 and all this stuff. So all of this is here. All of this is already being used by a lot of our clubs and members. All right. I'm gonna answer one little. Is Cloud Event meant to compete with Eventbrite? I guess the short answer is yes. We, Club Runner, we want to be your one-stop shop. So if you've used something like Eventbrite, I mean, I've kind of dabbled a little bit with Eventbrite. We want Club Runner to be the wheelhouse. Everything happens under one roof. You're going to see other modules. We want to compete with all the other separate, disparate tools out there. So if you're using Eventbrite or MailChimp or what have you, all the different options, we want you to use Club Runner. And we're going to strive to make sure that we can be as functional and as useful as possible. So thank you for asking. All right. So I mentioned briefly payment providers. We now have two new payment providers, PayPal and Stripe. In Canada, we've had what's called Bambora. Sorry, they're Worldline. I have to update my. So there's technically three. There's a third in Canada. There's Worldline, and now we offer PayPal and Stripe, an integrated payment provider. What that means is when someone, say, pays for the event or donates or whatever, they don't leave the Club Runner site. I want to register for this event. I fill out all my information, I pay, I click submit, I'm done. And that's what the integration it adds. It adds this layer of convenience because they don't have to go somewhere else or put all this extra information.
I just want to add that I recognize the 66230 also has American clubs. So for US-based clubs, PAYA would be another alternative.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, you're cross-border. Sorry about that. So yes, US is PAYA. And then there's Worldline. And then the two new ones we have here are PayPal and Stripe. They're ready to go. Once again, please, if you want to find out more, I'm going to be following up this week, but please tell your clubs, contact the Club Runner team. We'd love to talk about this and figure out what's best for you. All right. I want to mention briefly a new feature called email link tracking. So you might already know Club Runner has had email statistics for a while, for several years. You send an email, okay, what happens after you click send? Did it land in the person's spam? Did they open it? Did they read it? That's been around for a while. Email link tracking is the next iteration or the next step up. This is my example, the district conference, right? You want to send it to, say, 2,000, everybody in the district, 2,000 members. There's a big prominent link that says click here to register for a conference. You email 2,000 people, find how many people clicked on that important link. This is what email link tracking does. I'm going to skip to the next slide. It's a little hard to read here, but basically what this is saying, what are all the links in the email that I sent? What is the click rate? Have people been clicking on the important, register for a district conference link? Let's say it goes out to 2,000 people, but only a few hundred people have clicked on it. So this is what email link tracking lets you do. Not only lets you track the email, but the links within the email. And once again, live right now, you can use it today. All right. So login seems small, but it's huge. It doesn't matter what we talk about in terms of Club Runner. If the user doesn't log in, then they can't use any of our features. We now have a new universal login. What a lot of our members kind of habitually do, they just go to Google and they're like, I voted clubs with Club Runner. So they'll type in Club Runner and they would land on our page. When you land on clubrunner.com, our corporate homepage now, there's a blue login button at the top right. All of our login buttons are at the top right. And it'll take them to this page. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. The special aspect of this universal login page, it will, once you give your login name and password, the next question is, are you trying to go to the club site, the district site, or the zone site? So it'll guide the user, because a lot of the times the user, let's say they're club president or something, and they log into the district and they say, I can't send an email, but I'm the president. Because they logged into the district site, they accidentally don't know that all their access is held in the club site, not the district site. So we're going to help the user kind of choose where, not only, thank you for the login, but where are you trying to go? So once again, live today, any member, any user can use this today. To stay on the topic of logins, we have just released a new feature called Magic Links. So we have a lot of members, they go through the login retrieval process, or maybe they struggle with this or that. Here's what a magic link is. You go to the login page, and let's say I just have no idea what my login and password is. Maybe this is the first time ever I've logged into Club Runner. Send me a magic link. You basically type in your email. If your email is correctly defined in Club Runner and we find your information, we'll send you a quick little email that says, you know what? We know who you are. We verified your email address. Click here to log in. bounces them right into their club or their district site. So it's hopefully a much more fluid and easier way to log in. Once again, if you've never tried it, try it yourself. See how the magic link works. It will work for any member as long as that member has a properly defined email address in our system. All right. Once again, sorry to jump around like this, but like I said, we're just exposing you to topics today. So one of the other things I want to expose you to is called multi-factor authentication. I'm going to say MFA to keep it short. But you probably already know, you log into Amazon, your banking site, big sites. They take your login name and password, and then they say, okay, that matches. Now I emailed you this code or texted you this code. This is going to come to Club Runner. We'll be sending codes via email. You can also set up authenticator apps. I think Google has an authenticator app. This is not out quite yet. It's coming soon. So this is one of the few things that it's not out today. You can't use it today, but it will be. We've had from very specific clubs and districts, this has been high demand for certain areas. And then in other areas, they're like, well, this is like another layer. Maybe we don't want, to give MFA to everybody because that will make some users struggle to log in even more. So it's not only going to be optional, MFA is not required. When we release it, it doesn't mean 100% of our accounts are going to have MFA. You can turn it on and off, and you can turn it on and off by access role. As an example, you can say, you know what, our club or our district, the regular members and the executive members, no MFA, it's fine. But the website admins, the people with the highest level of access, because they can do so much, we turn MFA on only for our club or district website admins. And so in that way, you can still use MFA, but you don't have to use it on everybody, just your advanced members, if that's how you like to use it. Once again, coming soon. So this is almost out. It'll be out in a little while. All right. And hopefully you're getting a sense of the patterns of these kind of like these really nice looking analytic screens. This is called membership success. You may have heard of it. So what is membership success? It's a prospective member tool. A lot of clubs, they're actually kind of using it to their own purpose as a new member application tool. The way that this works is that you'll have a form on your website. It's a referral form. Or it can be the form for the member, or it can be a referral form. And it can say, you know what, I went to a meeting or a lunch meeting or whatever the other day. I am kind of curious about joining the Rotary Club. So the person fills out the form and they get into what's called a membership funnel. What that means is when you enter this, when you input your information, right? Let's say I'm a prospective member and I input my information. Not only do I get into the system, but I get into an area, the membership success module, where you can set up email automation. That means is usually the secretary or the membership chair, someone you define, they get notified. Look, you have a new prospect. They just fill out this form. What should we do? Would you like to email them? Now, let's say the secretary on vacation for a couple of weeks, they can still get an email because you can set up that level of automation in the membership success module. Once again, this is available for today. Now, I'm going to qualify this because this is a big question. Membership success is available currently today for clubs only. It's not at the district level. We're looking into that. But thank you for pre-asking the question. We kind of get that question from districts, but this is a club only feature for the time being. So any club that has a Club Runner subscription can set up the membership success module. And we're going to have a major update when Nova comes out. And I'm going to show you the two types of ways or the two types of forms that any user can use. The public inquiry form is like basically if someone clicks join our club, it's a little hard to see here. In the menu item, they can click on join our club and they fill out this short little form and it gathers the information. This is for that specific prospect. This is for the person themselves. Or if the member, the current Rotarian is logged into your club site already, they can fill out what's called a private members only referral form. So I'm Bob, I'm a Rotarian in your club, and I think Nancy would make a great prospect. So I'm going to fill in the information on Nancy's behalf. So there's two ways to get that prospect into the membership success module. All right. And once again, I'm glossing over a lot of stuff on purpose. Today is not about a tutorial, but we can set up a tutorial later if you like. All right. So now we're going to get into our Rotary database integration. And we're going to tie it to your district. And that is a promise. And give me about 4 or 5 slides. So first, I want to talk about TrueSync. So we've had RI database integration. What that means is you make a change at the club, it goes up to district, it goes up to RI. So there's these levels, these steps. And that's been around for several years, since 2010, right? So 15 years, wow, almost 15 years. Here's what TrueSync means. Make a change at any level and it just syncs together. So I'm going to add a member at my Rotary. I'm going to terminate a member at district. I'm going to change somebody's phone number at club. It doesn't matter where you do it anymore. TrueSync just means just sync all the data, whether you do it at the club, the district, or the myrotary.org. We introduced TrueSync in July of last year. And when we released TrueSync, we just kind of happened to turn it on for everybody because we knew this will be a very useful feature. Lots and lots of people have been asking about this. But what TrueSync means in a nutshell is just make it, as long as it's turned on, and we're going to talk about the TrueSync, where it's on and where it's not. As long as it's turned on, just make your change to the member profile. And anywhere at club, district, myrotary.org. As long as TrueSync is enabled, just push everything up and down. It's for member information, for club officer changes, and for club information changes. And TrueSync handles all of those 3 types of changes. These are the integration settings. This has been around since 2010, more or less, the data center Rotary. And then this is new or newer. The data received from Rotary International, basically just think of it as pushing and pulling. I have information, send it up to Rotary. Oops, I made a change at Rotary, pull it down in the Club Runner. And that's essentially what these screens mean, is when you activate all these settings, it's just saying, make a change wherever you feel like. As long as this is all turned on, let's just push the information up and down the chain, club, district, and myrotary.org. All right. Rotaract integration has actually been around for a while, at least a year or 2. So Rotaract members are fully supported. So I had mentioned, Rotary integration is member changes, executive changes, and club information changes. The exact same thing applies to your Rotaract clubs. So Rotaract clubs can turn on integration and have all 3 of those aspects also synced all the way up and down the chain. Some Rotaract clubs don't know that, but they can turn it on at the district level. I want to spend 1 second here because I haven't really been following along the questions. I don't know if this question was asked, but it's a really important point that sometimes needs to be clarified. No club, Rotaract club, Rotary club, no club is forced to purchase their own Club Runner club level subscription. Let's say a Rotaract club is maybe small, like, sometimes they're like 12 members, 20 members. Just use the district site. You can create the Rotaract club at the district, and then you can sync your information between district and My Rotary. There's no need of a purchase for clubs. Of course, we'd love if the club purchased their own club level subscription, but it is not required. I think a lot of it's kind of a misnomer. A lot of people think, I don't have Club Runner, so I can't use anything. The district site is like an umbrella. You cover all of your members. If there's approximately 2,000 members in your district, you cover all of them with your Club Runner subscription. So a lot of clubs who maybe don't have their own club level subscription, it's fine. They can log into the district. They can do whatever work they need to do. Once again, sometimes that is important to clarify. And same with Rotaract integration. This is ready If you need any help turning it on, I'll help you turn on Rotaract integration for any of the Rotaract clubs. Let's talk about you. So 6330, how or what are your RI integration stats? So I'm just gonna, once again, I'll make sure you get this presentation. So, because I'm only gonna gloss over it today. Out of the 61 total clubs, 6330 is doing phenomenal. So out of 61 clubs, 60 of those clubs have RI integration enabled on Club Runner, enabled at RI, and they have TrueSync enabled. So 98% of your clubs, including Rotaract clubs, have all of this turned on. You're in fantastic shape. You're in great company. You know, we're hoping all of our districts one day will get a 98 to 100% completion rate. There's one club, we're going to talk about which club, that doesn't have our integration turned on. All 60 of your clubs have what's called the primary vendor read and write. Very briefly, what this means is you can push and pull, you can read and write, you can send and receive information. So I make a change, I push it up to RI. RI makes a change, I pull it down into the club or the district. That's what read and write means. It just means it's a two-way integration. There is something called read-only integration. It doesn't really apply here, but just so you know, a change happens at myrotary.org. You read it and you pull it into the district or the club. This is very useful if any club ever chooses to use a secondary database vendor, they don't decide to use Club Runner. You can still sync everything between district and myrotary using this option. Once again, there's a lot I'm not covering here on purpose, just so we don't go too much over time. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. But like I said, you will have all of these slides this week. All right. Highlanders Rotaract Club. That's the club currently that at least we could find. They haven't yet opted into RI integration. This is the one club that is preventing you from getting at 100% RI integration rate. We just want to report it. Maybe they're a new club, or maybe sometimes what happens in these cases, the club dissolved, but it just never got reported. So they are no longer a club. Thank you, Catherine. So we will talk about that. We'll address that. If the Highlanders needs to be removed or delisted, we'll get that off your district site. And I kind of wrote this out because sometimes it's good to just say it. Like, I'm going to follow up with you in case you need any assistance this week. I'm going to break it out into all the different questions that we might not have been able to answer. So like I said, today or tonight is just the start of the conversation. So we'll keep talking as the week progresses. All right. We will be releasing a Rotaract version at no charge to all district subscribers. It's going to be released in early 2025. You don't have to wait for this. If there are any other Rotaract clubs that are not yet listed on the district, like I said, it's no cost to any club to be listed on the district site. So if there are any Rotaract clubs that don't know that they can list themselves on the district site, please ask them to. This new module will be offering more features than we currently have. But for today, you can get those Rotaract clubs listed. We would love to get 100% of your Rotaract clubs listed on your district site. And it will be available on an opt-in basis. And like I said, we'll be releasing soon. And so one of the last things I want to mention is a module called the Membership Action Plan. This is a special module. It's technically not a Club Runner module. Everything I've been talking about previously, it's all tied into Club Runner, club or district version. This is a third-party module, and it was developed by Terry Weaver in Zone 33 in cooperation with Rotary. So we have all been kind of working as a team to get this released. The Membership Action Plan is a kind of analytic system for clubs to figure out how to grow their clubs and their membership. So, and I'm only going to give a very brief example, and it actually doesn't touch on all the different areas or avenues, but here's how you can use the membership action plan. I'm the club president. I log into MAP, a membership action plan, and I say, this is my Rotary year. It's, 24, 25. I'm really excited. I want to grow our club by 5 members. And you find out through all the analytics and statistics that are held in MAP that, our attrition rate, or in other words, people who leave the club, let's say we average about we lose 2 members per year. This is one of the things that MAP tells you, is that you're losing, on average, 2 members a year. I want to grow my club by 5 members. I have to recruit 7 members, because now MAP has helped me to learn that our year-over-year attrition rate, we lose about 2 members per year. MAP will do more, but this is an illustration of the point. These are some of the statistics held in MAP. It's a third-party software. So what happens is when we basically pass you off into the MAP site from Club Runner. And once again, there's a lot I'm glossing over, but if you would like to learn more about anything at all, let's do some follow-ups this week. All right. With that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand off to Halle, and I'm going to take over the Zoom chat. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Mickey. I'm really excited to join all of you tonight and announce a few product updates and product news, and also let you know about the future updates, what's happening with Nova. You may have heard about a new version. You may have concerns, and I'm here to alleviate, hopefully, all of your concerns. But we'll jump into some product news. So we've been hard at work adding more value than ever to Club Runner, and you've heard about this so far, but just to kind of reiterate, cloud events, I think someone mentioned it's very similar to Eventbrite. The benefit is it uses the same database as the rest of your club information, and there's no cost. So it will eventually replace My Event Runner, which you may be using for some of your club fundraisers. As you know, there's a pro version that's $1 per registration. There's no per registration fees with cloud events, and you don't have to necessarily be collecting fees with cloud events. You could just use it to register free events and take advantage of all of the features, like the conditional questions and the products and all of that. So definitely play around with that. Also in Nova, we're going to be doing away with the concept of the enhanced module. So sometimes it gets just very complex. Clubs might say, well, I do have Club Runner for clubs, and I'm going into the committees module. Why don't I see this feature? It's like, oh, well, did you purchase the enhanced version, and so on. So that's going to be going away. We're trying to make it as streamlined and as simple of an offering as possible. Also, sometimes people contact us and ask us about limits. So especially with, how many files can we store? Can we really use the documents area or the committees area to really store a lot of information and historical documents and so on. And we usually have a guideline that we've given in the past. I think for clubs, we've said something like 10 gigabytes. Email credits, there's always a guideline, and with contacts as well. So we're going to be doing away with these hard limits in Nova and replacing them with what we're calling a fair usage policy. So as long as you're using the system for regular club business, you shouldn't really feel constrained. In fact, we want you to use the software to make your club more effective, more organized, and also, of course, grow it. And then as of this coming up Rotary year, the Club Runner banner ads are going to be retired. So this is not to be confused with the sponsors ads or the sponsorship graphics that clubs can use and add to a widget to the homepage or to the bulletin. That's going to remain in place should you want to use it. This is more about the Club Runner specific graphics. And we're just, it was a model that worked 20 years ago when we first launched Club Runner, and we don't require it anymore. And we want to give more control back to clubs and districts for managing their websites and bulletins. So those are just a few product updates. And next, I'll just dive into what's on the horizon. So earlier this year, we announced a new version, probably the biggest upgrade Club Runner has seen in its history. And it's something we actually started building a number of years ago. So obviously, Club Runner being 20 years old, we've continually enhanced things here and there, but we knew we needed to completely redo the underlying platform, the underlying database, the technological framework that it sits on, in order to really be able to do some serious upgrades. And our focus for that was a number of things. User experience is the first one. We really wanted to really reflect a more modern technology. Performance is also key. You know, operating faster, being more secure. Security has become a huge part of any software platform. And eventually also flexibility in, you know, being able to have a little bit more of a tailored solution, and also to streamline the data. So, and I'll explain that in a second. But one of the biggest things that you'll notice is also a brand new user interface. So it does also look more modern, but you know, the underlying platform has also changed. So it's not just a new look and feel. But the biggest thing that people will notice is the navigation menu. So over the years, we've continually added more and more modules, more and more features, more and more links to the menu, and it's gotten a little overwhelming. And that's the majority of the feedback that we've had. So we've really simplified it and you know, tried to make it so that it's really as intuitive as it possibly can. And then, as Mickey mentioned, these latest enhancements to the mobile app are just the beginning. The mobile app is also undergoing a major rehaul as part of Nova, and it's going to continue to be the ultimate place for what we call like the regular member experience. So a new member joins your club, that should be the predominant part of Club Runner that they can use for, you know, finding out about the club and doing whatever it is that they need to do. And we also have a note in here about there's no cost to upgrade to Club Runner Nova. This is a natural upgrade as part of the product. And it's not like if you want to switch, then you have to have, you know, a price increase or anything like that. It's just because it's a new platform, there's a little bit more of like a process for switching over. So in terms of the capabilities, the biggest thing we you'll notice is with the database, we really tried to harmonize a lot of the data sets. So over the years, we've kind of kept adding modules, kept adding lists, and things got a little bit siloed. So a great example of that is the member profile, the contacts. We then added prospects, and with Nova, it's one person record, and it will just accumulate all of the engagement, all the activities, the history. Even if someone starts off as a contact, they become a member, they might leave, they might return. It's one record that will retain all of that information. Also with the events, that's another area where things have continually just been added more and more, and cloud events will eventually become the single events module. So it still has to be enhanced, to continue to be enhanced to accept things like the RSVP feature of the event planner or recurring events like calendar items. But the goal is it's one events module that will replace everything that you've been using today. But as I said, it's not going to replace everything from day one. So that way, you know, we're trying not to make it as disruptive as possible. It's going to be slowly changing. Nova is also going to allow us to, you know, create on the fly workflows, forms, and be able to modify them on a per district basis, which is really exciting. So if you have a grants application, or if you want to post a form on your website, you know, for certain, you know, organizations in the committee to request funds or anything like that, the feedback we've had from a lot of clubs is they're using third-party tools like Jot Forms or Google Forms. And again, just trying to keep everything in Club Runner and really try to get things as integrated as possible so that it just makes things a lot easier. And then even though the traditional dues and billing is being changed to sort of a more upgraded version of batch invoicing, down the road, an option is going to be available for you to have auto renew. So members can join, you can have them set so that, you know, that the treasurer doesn't have to manually create an invoice. It can just sort of wait for the right time. You can set it based on your own preferences, and then 90 days before it can issue an invoice, and then member just has to click renew, pay, and then they remain for one more year. Very much like you would expect from other services that you know, subscribe to. And then another huge change with Nova is the financial backbone. So just to talk about that a little bit more. So all of the financial transactions that happen on the system, whether it was a donation, an event registration, and an invoice payment, all of those are aggregated in one area. So again, not siloing things like they are today, like in dues and billing, or having to go into a specific event. And all of these transactions can be filtered, they can be viewed, they can be exported, and then there's going to be, this is going to be a little bit later on in 2025, an accounting integration with QuickBooks and other accounting software. So again, not having to manually export and import the information, or in some cases manually doing that, which is great for the treasurer. And also GL codes are going to be supported in Club Runner, so you can actually allocate the correct GL code for every event or every donation campaign, every product, and that way everything gets tagged appropriately and you know exactly where all of your revenue is earmarked for. And then the last bullet here, service fees. And that's actually already out. And this is something that you could do for your events. So if, let's say you create an event on Cloud Events, you can choose to charge your own service fee to offset the PayPal transaction fees or what have you. And that's something that the system will automatically calculate for you. So just for some visuals, this is an example of a club admin area. So you'll right away notice the menu looks very different. And this is the financials dashboard. So this gives you an overview of what type of revenue the club has brought in so far in the year. And you can always drill down and see, for that $8,705 in events, what are all those transactions? How many came from each event? I can even filter based on a lot of different data points and be able to export it. And then this is an example of a member profile. So again, it could be very similar to a contact profile. You'll just see a little bit less information. You'll notice tags here. We've had tags in contacts, but we didn't have them in members. So now tags work across any type of contact, which is really nice. So you could really segment your database. You could earmark people who are interested in Lobster Fest, or people who said that they would love to participate in a particular service project. And that way you can just create that group at any time, be able to send them an email or export their information. So that was a really quick overview of Nova, and I haven't really checked the chat if there was anything in there, but I don't think there's much. Okay, so any questions so far while I get a drink of water? All right. I'll take that as a no. Okay, so I'll just move on. I have a couple of other initiatives that I really wanted to touch on. One of them is to do with brand guidelines. And we met with Rotary International's branding team earlier this year, and we're working to develop a few initiatives. One of them is retiring all the old logos and mapping them to new versions, and basically retroactively updating tens of thousands of outdated pages for clubs and districts so they don't have to worry about it. There's also going to be some changes in the interface to promote the more brand compliant website themes and color schemes. So a lot of times clubs maybe chose a website theme 10 years ago, let's say when they started with Club Runner, they haven't updated them to the newer, more modern ones that perhaps have the wide carousel or anything like that. And, we want to help clubs sort of update and upgrade to the newer themes. We just don't normally do it on any club's behalf. It's something they have to do. And if the district would like to organize any type of workshop, bring us in and co-host, or maybe we can just spend 20 minutes just showing how to tap into those newer themes, please don't hesitate to ask us. Also, in Nova, we're going to be releasing new bulletin templates as well as page templates. And these are great because it's not just like a layout template, but it also contains images and text. So you can, clubs don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. So you can just select a template, make further modifications, even turn it into your own template, and then be able to send it out. So that's really exciting. And that's part of the vision for Club Runner. Is the long-term vision is that we're more than just a tool to help clubs do whatever they need to do, but also help facilitate content sharing and really, down the road, it'll be like districts can create templates and then propagate them out to clubs, or clubs can sort of share templates. So there's a lot of potential there, and we're really excited about the future. We just have to move to we have to move to something more modern to allow us to dream in that way. And one of the things I want to mention is not everything, I think I said this already, not everything is going to change overnight in Nova. So you'll notice the new menu, the new member database, the new billing, and the new email. But Bulletin and Website Designer are going to be changed a little later on. They're, for the most part, just kind of shifting over as is, with the exception of an updated HTML editor and an image editor. So those are just being modernized just a little bit. To be the HTML editor is a little bit more web compliant, a little bit closer to what you'll see once you hit publish. And the nice thing with the image editor is, it all happens. You upload an image and it's sideways, or you realize I should have cropped, the top off, or just adjusted the size. So you'll be able to do that in Club Runner after you've uploaded it, just to kind of try to eliminate some of those small paper cuts that I know people sometimes encounter, because sometimes that's also equally important as a huge brand new module. So little steps there. And just to kind of wrap up, if you haven't joined our Champions in Beta group, please do. We have about 700 Rotarians in there, and it's been great because we've shared access to a sandbox for Nova and had some great feedback come in so far. There's actually an email that's slated to go out this week, inviting beta clubs to be part of the first to switch to Nova. And there's a few kind of limitations and prerequisites, like, it's only English language, and, a couple of other things that for the first sort of tranche of clubs that would like to switch. But even if you're not interested in that yet, you just want to be kept up to date with everything, I highly encourage you to sign up and, just get a few more frequent updates about everything. And yeah, I just want to say your input and feedback is so vital to Club Runners in, evolution. And we always like to ask, everyone, what's working for you, what's not working, what are some things you would like to see Club Runner do? Obviously there's always more and more that we can do to improve, and how can we better support you through training sessions and, other areas. And then to really wrap up, I always like to end with this slide, which is our promise. We remain as committed as ever to delivering world-class software to Rotary clubs and districts, backed by excellent customer service. And we've done this for the past 20 years, and we hope to do for at least 20 more. And we're really excited about the future. And I'm really excited to, have Nova be out and have clubs switching to it, and really start to get some great feedback. So thank you very much for your kind attention this evening. So I guess we have a couple more minutes. I don't know if you want to do Q&A, Catherine. Does that sound good? Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, I see a message just now from Myrna. Will Paul Harris Fellow information be integrated from RI? So that's a good question. So for anything to be integrated, I'll just stop my share here. For anything to be integrated, RI has to basically publish an API for companies like Club Runner to be able to use to pull the data. So they did publish that one to pull the foundation information. That's what we did for the mobile app. You can only get it for that one particular member. For us to be able to incorporate that into like member designations, that's been something that's been on our minds for a while, because the source of truth really is the RI database. There's no sense in trying to duplicate that information in Club Runner, and that's the ideal. So we will continue to mention that to RI next time we have a meeting with them. Any other questions? If somebody wants to speak up, you can just feel free to unmute, or if you want to do the, is there a hand raising feature on this, I guess? Yeah, Diane?
Diane, okay, Will we be able to sell like our turtle ticket fundraiser using PayPal?
Yes. So what I would recommend you do is use cloud events, because even though you can attach it to PayPal ultimately for the payment transaction, the nice thing is that you can actually create that registration form. You could design exactly what questions you want to ask as you're selling those tickets. And then eventually those contacts are going to go into, so that's not going to happen today because we're not in Nova yet, but in Nova, everyone who registers ends up in your system. So if you want to email them again next year, then it becomes really easy, and so on. So yeah, definitely play around with cloud events, and you could do that today.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Well, a couple of things. You were going through so much so quick. I just want to be sure. So this Nova upgrade, is this something that every club just gets, or it's an extra charge to the club, or how does that work?
Yeah, so there's no extra charge. The only reason that it's not going to be an automatic upgrade is because there's quite a bit of conversion. There's a data migration involved. And right now, it would be only clubs who, for example, like we don't support taxes yet in the dues and billing. So if you need to collect taxes, I would say you'd have to wait. So there's a few things that you, as long as you fit those requirements, then you just have to let us know once it's open, which is going to be in the next like week or two. Then you would just let us know, we would hit a button, everything moves over, and then next time your members log in, they're in the new interface.
And then it looked like the club would be able to do all of their, I guess, bookkeeping through the system. So does that mean we wouldn't need anything else? Like the treasurer would just use Club Runner, and is that secure for all our information?
So I would say that it's not a replacement for your bookkeeping, because it's not a double entry bookkeeping system. But what we did in Nova is we aggregated all of the financial transactions. You can allocate GL codes, you can export the information, but there's going to be a direct integration with QuickBooks. So you would still use an accounting system, but at least all of the funds that you collected through Club Runner, you could automatically funnel those into QuickBooks. You don't have to key them in manually or do an export import. That's if you choose to do that. We know some clubs, they don't need that level of detail in QuickBooks. And actually, there's a few ideas floating around about sort of creating these aggregate reports. So let's say you want to put in every month, here's how many donations we got, here's events, here's dues, here's whatever. And then Club Runner can give you those aggregate numbers, mark those items as posted, and then you just have to go in and say, okay, 18,000 was the total dues, and then put that in as one entry into your accounting system.
Thank you.
Halle, Emma Bartz had a question.
Yes.
Had a question.
So when should we expect a prompt to convert to Nova? Any day now. So the team is actually building an informational page right now as we speak. Well, not as we speak because it's almost 8 p.m., but they're working on it this week. So you can expect an email sometime this week or next. I would say probably this week, sort of explaining the process and who's eligible to convert and what that would look like. Our goal was to switch the first club before the end of 2024, and we're really excited to make that deadline. But for those who don't want to be that, on that bleeding edge of, being the early adopters, I would say that comfortably it's going to happen sometime, you're probably going to be, January, February, March of 2025, you're probably going to be more in a position. If you want to wait for everything to kind of settle down, that would be a good time frame. And it's not going to be mandatory until well into, like, let's say, probably a year from now, when we would start to say, okay, it's time to switch over. Any other questions? Will the switch affect the regular user or most of the admin? Actually, it'll impact both. So not in terms of their login and password, everything will continue to operate. Actually, the universal login screen, even the main login screen is identical. It's where you get redirected to once you've logged in. Right now, we put you on this administration page if you're administrator, and then we put you on sort of this member page with all the kind of big colorful blocks of, some of the main links. They're just going to see slightly different versions of that. But from there, they click through and they can get to any area. So we actually have, we did a demo of what that looks like. We're probably going to do another demo in January for everyone. So if you wanted to have a firsthand look at the system and how that would behave, we'll definitely let you know. And if you wanted to play around with it live, if you would like access to the sandbox, I think Mickey, you can include that in your follow-up to the DG line, and then they can share that with everyone. There's nothing to fear. The goal is it's going to be more intuitive and more user-friendly. All right. Any other question? I think that's time. So we'll hand it back to DG Catherine.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both, Mickey and Halle, for coming and giving us just a brief overview of what's going on in Club Runner Nova. I'm sure we all have lots of questions after further discussion. We've recorded the session, so we are going to be posting those probably on our YouTube channel for you to go back through and watch again. So feel free to reach out to either, I think, Mickey or Halle. We will have your contact information, so you can reach out to them directly, or you can reach out to me with any questions that you have going forward. And we're looking forward to what Nova has in store for us in the new year. So thank you both for being here. And thanks to everyone in the district, for coming here tonight and getting a little more informed about all of the great services that Club Runner offers for us. So thanks again, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for your time, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for the information.
Our pleasure.